Kunye. Welcome back, guys. Here's a couple of short videos on stances. These videos can be used to add on to any one of the other videos that we've shot already to improve your forms, to improve your basics, to improve your just basic footwork and balance. So we're going to show the stances and we're going to correct them. Today we're going to start off with the Chungkul Jase front stance, which is one of the first stances that you see in our Segihyungs, our earlier forms. These are the longest stances that we have. I've asked Mrs. Master S to come out. She's going to demonstrate so I can just highlight or point out some of the things that we're going to look for in order to target the best quality front stances, okay? So we're going to be doing them facing this direction. That way you can get the full breadth of the stance. You can see the whole length of it, okay? So as she steps forward, she's going to pull her hands up to chamber position. She's going to either step forward or back, either way, because we're just stressing the stances right now. What we're looking for in a good Chungkul Jase, number one, obvious observations. The front knee needs to be bent. Far too often we see like a slope going on. We need to see a good check mark there. The back leg, opposite, needs to be completely straight. Now the other thing that we see often is a little flex in this back knee or even the heel leaving the floor. So let's go through a real quick checklist. Number one, front knee bent. And we want to bend it so much so that if she's looking down, she should not be able to see her own toes. That should give this leg a nice anchoring if you're working at home with a parent or you are the parent working with your child. Give the back of their heel a little nudge. If it's able to slide, that means that their foot wasn't bent enough. Their knee wasn't bent enough. They need more weight on that front foot. The back leg, we want that leg nice and straight, so we need to make sure that that heel is touching the floor. No lifting there. That should lock the knee up. Make sure that that heel is touching. Knee is locked straight. With this, you also want to stress that her toes are pointing as much forward as possible. Another thing we see pretty often is that this foot will open up. That causes a lot of flexing in the knee, or it may elongate the stance so that they can get down lower, but it's not going to increase their movement or balance, which is what we're trying to get at with these stances. Lastly, this is hard to see from the side, so we are going to rotate to the front. When she's in this stance, you'll notice that her feet are not in direct alignment with each other. They're slightly apart, about shoulder width or a little bit less, so that she can keep this gap here, enables her hips to feel relaxed and her shoulder to be square. Let's double check. Is her knee bent? Absolutely. Can she see her toes? Doesn't look like it. Is her back knee straight? Yep. Heel on the ground? Yes. Hands aside? Great. Good posture. Feet are apart. She's got a good front stance. Let's see what yours looks like. Good luck, guys. Welcome back, guys. Here's another quick look at stances as they help us with our balance, with our posture, and also help us perform our forms and marching basics better. Today's focus is going to be on the Kima Jase, the horse riding stance. This is one that the kids all love and hate at the same time. They love saying it, they love knowing what it is, but holding it for a long period of time can be quite an exercise. So parents, if you need something for your kids to do on this long holiday, make sure that they're making a long Kima Jase. See how long they can hold it. They're going to increase their leg strength and also give you a little bit of free time so that you guys can take a deep breath. So here it is, without further ado, Kima Jase. We're going to start by opening our feet double shoulder width apart, so wider than your shoulders. Mrs. Master S is going to demonstrate so I can point out some of the qualities. Before we even get started on bending the knees and making the stance, let's take a look at what's going on at the very bottom of this. Her feet are both pointed forwards. We do not want what we call duck foot position, which is the toes being out. This is very, very bad for balance front and back, and it doesn't give her much stability side to side either. When her feet are pointing forward, front and back depends on how deep her knee bend is, but the sides of her body become extra reinforced. So number one thing I always look for horse riding stances are toe positions. That is most important to me for horse riding stance, even more important than how deep your knees are going to bend. Make sure your toes are pointing forward. Now, going up from the toes, let's go up to the knees. Knees are going to bend. That's what makes it make a stance. So when her knees bend, she's going to make sure that her knees open and bend, and they're going to try to stay in a square position. We don't want the knees to be inside this way. That looks like she has to go to the bathroom, and it's really difficult to put her knees on the outside without opening those toes again. So that kind of breaks rule number one. So her knees and toes are going to be in alignment. They should be the knees right over the feet, creating a pretty solid wall there on either side. Good. Next, let's go up. Hips are in. Now we're going to rotate to the side here in a minute, but what we're going to look at when we're doing this is that we're not sticking our butt out or bringing our chest or head forward. You'll be able to see that more clearly on the side. But let's finish coming up real quick. The other things we want to note, her hands are going to be chambered in to her ribs. This also helps with posture. Head up, chin up straight. Don't let your chin come forward. Now let's rotate to the side to show you some of those things that we're talking about just a second ago. First thing, are her toes facing forward? Looks good. When she opens her feet double shoulder width apart, she bends her knees. Excellent, good. Now she's going to take her hips in, shoulders back, and make a straight line. If she was standing up against a wall, nothing touching, it's all straight up. If she brings her chin or chest forward, her bottom sticks out, that brings some balance out this way, loss of control, loss of balance. If her hips go the other way, well then obviously that looks a little funny. You probably won't be able to stand that way for too long. So this is our basic Kima Jase. Toes forward, knees bent, hips open, back straight, hands in tight. It's a long checklist, but if you do it well, you're gonna have one of the strongest stances in Tong Soo Do. Good luck, guys. Let's see you practice it. Send us some pictures and videos so that we know you're doing it right. Tong Soo, guys. Yep. Welcome back, guys. We have another stance video for you today. This is going to be our stance look at the fighting stance, or Hukul Jase, sometimes known as the cat stance, that we have in forms like Segihyung Sambu, or all the way up to Pyeongodan, for example. So we're going to start off, we're going to show you two different angles from the front and from the side view. This is one of the more difficult stances, and if you're holding it for an extended period of time, your legs are going to get pretty tired, but it's a good workout in order to strengthen your quads and your glutes, okay? So without further ado, let's look at our Hukul Jase, fighting stance. Mrs. Mesteres and I are going to do this kind of opposite direction so you guys can see. She's going to start off with her feet. Normally in churi-up position, their toes face the same direction. She's going to open one of those feet to create an L shape with her toes. Her heels are going to be in alignment with each other. Her knees now point in opposite directions too. And that's going to be something that we come back to several times in this stance. She then opens this foot out, up on the ball of her foot or her toes, and brings it out as far as she can until she has to start flexing the back leg in order to hold some of her body weight. This keeps the front foot very light and able to move quickly, but the back leg very heavy and solid for balancing. So if you look, her back knee and her front knee are both bent. What else are we going to focus on here? Well, if her toes are facing opposite 90-degree angles, that should also imply that her knees are at two different 90-degree angles. Avoid keeping your front knee turned in this way. Again, looks like you're squeezing your thighs together or having to go to the bathroom. Keep your knees open at 90-degree vectors away from each other. This gives her the ability to pick up this foot really quickly for kicking, or also sprinting or lunging off of the back leg for a deep push in for reverse punching or any other attack. So this is our Hukul Jase. Let's rotate it to the front so everybody can see it again one more time. She starts in her churi-up position, she rotates one of her feet out to 90 degrees, and then she moves her front foot forward, or if you need to, her back foot can go back. Her hips, her shoulders are all in alignment with the back leg that is supporting the majority of her body weight. Now, as we're doing this, one thing I forgot to point out in the other direction is where her head balance is. Can we just rotate 90 degrees here, man? When she's in her Hukul Jase, she's not going to be having her hips in or her head back or head forward, butt back. Sometimes we see some really weird hip positions when we're making those Hukul Jases. You want to think posture, posture, posture. Head up, chin up, chest up, and all that body weight is in alignment directly over that strong back leg that's flexing, holding your body weight. This is our Hukul Jase fighting stance. You'll see this for kicking positions. You'll see it in forms, but this is a solid stance to practice your leg strength as well. All right, guys. Let's see some good practice at home. Send us some pictures or videos. We'd love to see your best Hukul Jase. Thank you very much. Yep, practice hard. Tong Soo.